everyone. I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to the Melissa M.A.D.E Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hello, welcome to the Melissa M.A.D.E Show. And today I want to talk to you about recover from a binge day or a binge weekend or a week, or, you fill in the time frame. I want to help you get back on track because I'm speaking firsthand. Sometimes it's very, very difficult, and you finding yourself trying and not being able to follow through and trying. And you notice I'm trying to not say the word fail, because trying is not failing. Okay. The attempt in trying, it's like people who have tried to diet and quote unquote see themselves as failure because they've never been able to get to their goal weight. Please, for a second, take a deep breath and congratulate yourself for at least trying. Okay. You're trying to get yourself back to that healthy weight. So I'm trying really hard not to use that word, but that's just kind of how, you try something and then you fail and you try again. You're not failing. Maybe just the way that you're going at it isn't working. So that's what this episode is about, is I want to try to help you, give you a couple of tips. We'll try for 7 tips. 7's a lucky number, right? On helping you be able to get back on track if you've had a fallout of some sort. You've fallen off the proverbial bandwagon and you need to get going again. So let's get started. The first one is I really want you to, if you're a scale person and you have been, I'm just going to say a weekend. Okay. Let's just call it a long weekend, a Thanksgiving weekend, a Labor Day weekend binge, and you go in deep, you drink lots of alcohol, you have lots of fried food, you eat, until 2 a.m. in the morning, you have, donuts and sugary, creamy coffee for breakfast. It all sounds wonderful, but you go all in. And that in of itself, a weekend of doing that is not a big deal. But the hard part is getting back on track sometimes, because that addiction that's very touchy-feely with some people. Some people will tell you flat out, yes, that stuff's addicting and you can get addicted to it. And other people are like, it's not the same. So, but I'm going to use that word very loosely, but you get very addicted to how good that stuff tastes. And so when, say, Tuesday comes around and it's time for you to go back to, maybe a diet plan that doesn't fulfill you, and so you feel really restricted, then you're going to go right back to the way that you were that weekend, because you're like, oh, but I miss that coffee. I miss that buzz, whatever it is. So number one, as I don't want you to get on the scale. Okay. If you've had a bad day, a bad month, it's been a while, you lose the scale. Okay. The scale is not your friend, especially in the beginning of you trying to get back on track. When you initially get on that scale, it's going to probably put you in a depressive state, which, it's been proven that when you're depressed, what do? You want to eat. So that's no good. And it's so inaccurate. Okay. Especially if you've had a weekend of eating fried food, salty foods, you've been drinking a lot of alcohol, but not a lot of water. A lot of that weight is going to not be fat weight at all. It's going to be other weight, but yet it's going to make you feel like you're fat because you put on weight. And when people have that extra weight, they automatically assume it's fat and they feel terrible about that. So I want you, number one, to stay off the scale. And I'm not going to give you a time frame, but, give yourself grace. Number 2 is to give yourself time to get through, several days of doing some of these other things that I'm going to list before you jump on the scale, if the scale is your thing. The scale's not my thing. I very rarely get on it. And I'll be honest with you, I only get on it when I feel really good, because I want that confirmation that I'm doing good. And it's just information. Okay. So number 1, stay off the scale. Number two is I really want you to say just goodbye, to get rid of any of your negative thoughts or your negative self-talk or any guilt that you're holding, because holding on to the past does you absolutely zero good. So if you had that bad night, that bad weekend, that bad week, vacation, whatever, please don't hold yourself into that feeling of talking bad to yourself or feeling guilty about. Let it go. Today is a new day and you're going to move forward. And from today on, you're going to work to be a little bit better, right? Never perfect, but a little bit better, and try not to have really bad binges at that point. You can enjoy all the foods that you did, but a little bit more in moderation and not such a strong binge. So don't feel guilty for it. Move on. Today is a new day. Okay. Number three, something that's really important, especially if you had a lot of alcohol or you did have a lot of sugar, you had a lot of caffeine, is I really want you to just focus on drinking a lot of water, okay? And if you're one of those people that are just like, oh, I hate drinking water, put some cucumber in it, put some lemon in it. Lemon would be really good. Put some mint leaves in it, some whatever you want, chunks of watermelon, and just drink a lot of water for several days to really kind of help flush out things that might have built up in your system during that time of not eating your best. Okay, that's number three. Number four is to remove the temptation and then to consider going grocery shopping. So remove the temptation. So if it was at your house and you've still got that, that coffee creamer and you've got leftover donuts and you've got the alcohol sitting out and all that stuff, remove it however you want. You feel best throwing it away. You want to give it away. However, besides consuming it yourself, get rid of the temptation. Listen to me. Nobody is that strong. Nobody. So there isn't a person that you look up to in this world that will have that kind of stuff in their house and be able to say, I just don't want it anymore. For me, it's sweets. It's chocolate. It's the candy hot tamales. I love those. For my husband, it's bread. I mean, we all have our something. And if I really want to cut back on sugary sweets, I'm not going to have it laying around. And my husband, same thing. He doesn't want, a big loaf of bread sitting out on the counter if he's trying to cut back on that bread. So get rid of the temptation. And if you feel strong, go grocery shopping. And with the right attitude, put in a TED Talk, put in a little podcast in your headphones about the benefits of healthy eating and how good it makes you feel, and go grocery shopping. Stay on the outside, start in the fruits and the vegetable aisles, and then hit the butcher and get yourself a couple of pieces of, quality meat and get good stuff. Don't even go in the middle. Don't even be tempted by that. Just stay on the outside, get the things that you know that you want. Listen to that podcast, feel really good about today, because from today forward, you're going to do really good, and get rid of the temptation and go to the grocery store and have a beautiful rainbow of foods in your cart. Get it and then plan to eat it. Okay. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is I also want you to get moving. So here's something really important. I'm gonna say, for instance, your favorite thing to do. I don't even know if it's still around, but I'm gonna use Zumba as an example. Boy, was Zumba popular when I was teaching Payu and Turbo Kick. That was my competition. The Zumba classes were packed. Must have been really fun. I never did a Zumba class for obvious reasons. But if you love Zumba, okay, it's just your favorite class, but you have, a bad long weekend, and you go on Monday to Zumba not feeling very well, and your mindset is to go to Zumba as a punishment, because you were so bad. Now you need to work off that bad food. Don't do that. Don't do the things that you love if your mindset is you're punishing yourself or you're doing it because you were bad. Okay. And I want you to move, but even if that means that you just go take a walk, okay, don't associate something that you love to do normally with something that you have to do to undo something that you think is bad. Does that make sense? So get moving. And you can, if you have the right mindset and you really love it, and you can go to the gym or you can push play at home and enjoy that process, by all means do that. But if you're just still not feeling well and you're forcing yourself to do it and you're doing it because you feel like you have to, not because you want to, then I want you to do something else. And it doesn't have to be anything extreme whatsoever. A nice walk. is all you need to do for a few days after having a little bit of a binge, so that you're getting your body moving and helping it heal from what you did in order to move on and to be able to feel better and get back on track. Weight gain. It can be so hard to avoid, especially when we're binge watching our favorite shows and getting invited to party after party. And it's frustrating when we're working really hard and everything seems to be going right, but yet that scale keeps creeping up and up. But I recently learned a really interesting fact about how weight gain works and the super simple ways that we can control it. So I was chatting with Tina Anderson. Now, she's the founder of Just Thrive Probiotics, and you definitely want to check out the podcast that we did together. It's really good. She told me that when it comes to fat burning, you and I are basically at the mercy of two specific hunger hormones. Now, stay with me. I promise this won't get too sciencey. Now, these hormones, which are controlled by your gut, are responsible for switching off your fat storing and switching on your fat burning. Interesting, right? So when your gut can properly parent these hormones, your body literally absorbs less fat from the food you eat and burns the excess fat that you have. Yes, please and thank you. But thanks to our modern toxic world, it's way too easy for these hormones to misbehave and to kind of run amok. So when this happens, we end up choosing foods that we know are bad for us. We're eating more foods even when we're not hungry. And we're making bad food choices because we think that it just might possibly boost our down mood. Now, that's why it is so important to support the health of your gut so that you get these hormones under control. Now, thanks to Tina, my go-to gut support is Just Thrive Probiotic. If you've been following me, you know I'm obsessed with gut health. Up to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. So a healthy gut is truly the master key to staying resilient and feeling your best. And with Just Thrive Probiotic, I feel confident that I'm giving my body what it needs to stay strong and balance my hunger hormones so I can avoid unwanted pounds. I trust Just Thrive because their probiotic has more clinical research than anything else out there. You hear that? I love that it's vegan, it's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free, and free from anything artificial. And it's even safe for kids. You can literally break open the capsule and sprinkle it onto any food or drink because Just Thrive strains are so resilient. They are all natural and do not even come alive until they get into your intestines. Now, seriously, I can mix it into smoothies or bake it into any recipe without losing the potency. Now, as a bonus, Just Thrive Probiotic can even support beautiful skin, better sleep, and a brighter mood. Just Thrive is my secret weapon for weight management. And right now, you can save 15% off their award-winning probiotic when you go to justthrivehealth.com and use the promo code MelissaMade at checkout. Number 6 is I want you to, do you have goals? Do you have goals? If you have goals, I want you to look them over again and make sure that they still work for you. Because maybe one of the reasons why you fell off the bandwagon is because the goals that you've set for yourself maybe aren't working for you. Or could be the opposite end of the spectrum. Maybe you don't have any goals. And so, when it comes to Friday and it's a long weekend and poor donuts, I'm giving them a really bad rap, but I'm just going to stick with donuts and alcohol. Trying to think of something else that's bad for breakfast. But you just have, you're eating 3-4 donuts, iced donuts in the morning, and then having all that sugary coffee. That's really going to, can you remember where I was going? I really feel bad for donuts. It makes me think of poor Shanti, who I think still enjoys his Friday donuts. But it's okay if you don't have goals. You're not going to be able to get back on track. And if your goals are too stringent, then you're not going to want to stick to those goals, or they're just never attainable. So my advice to you is when you have one of those binge moments, review your goals, make sure that you're still looking at it going, yeah, that's still doable. I think I can do that. Maybe put them into more bite-sized pieces so you can reward yourself more often instead of waiting till this big lofty goal happens, which sometimes can take a really long time and we feel like we're failing because we haven't hit our goal yet. Or if you don't have any goals, I really want you to write some down that are uh, just very manageable. For instance, let's say you have 5 or 6 cups of coffee a day, okay? And you don't have the black coffee, you put, a little bit of sugar and some creamer in it, and that's your drink 5 or 6 times a day. Instead of saying, I'm going to cut out the coffee. Ooh, that's really difficult. Or even to say, I'm going to replace 3 of the 6 cups of coffee with water. Believe it or not, is still difficult in the beginning. I want you to start really small so you feel so successful. So how about just drinking, promising yourself you'll have 3 glasses of water a day and don't even think about the coffee yet. And once you hit the 3 glasses of water first thing in the morning, in the middle of the afternoon, and then maybe an hour before you go to bed, so you don't get up and go potty, that's fantastic. And then maybe you can work on, okay, I've got those 3 glasses of water a day. Now I'm going to have 5 cups of coffee and 4 glasses of water. And then I'm going to have just 5 glasses of water, and slowly make that transition instead of cold cutting something out and trying to put a whole bunch of something else in. Take it easy and celebrate those small wins. I want you to put your head on the pillow. What do I always say at the end of my podcast? And I want you to be proud of yourself and say, oh, I did it. I promised myself those 3 glasses of water. I did it. I feel fantastic. I feel hydrated. My pee is a good color. There's no odor. Celebrate that stuff. Okay. So look at your goals. Decide if they're still good. If they're not, change them. Or if you don't have goals, make yourself some very small goals to work towards, which will keep you honestly from having these binge episodes. If there's something that you have more frequently than you should. And then last but not least is I want you to connect. Do you have a good friend? Do you have a family member that you can just call up and say, oh, I've really, I'm trying to eat really healthy lately. And it's been a week now and I'm just having a really hard time getting back on track. Sometimes just sharing that with somebody else is really relieving, and it just motivates you, because now that person knows that you're trying to make the difference. And I hope you have someone in your life that would positively give you that positive pressure to stick with it, because they know that you want it really bad and they love you regardless, but they're there to say, hey, I saw on your social media, that you were at happy hour. I just want to remind you of your goals and enjoy that drink, but let's stop it at there, that kind of a thing. If you don't, there's coaches, there's lifestyle coaches, there's fitness coaches, there's nutrition coaches. You could even, talk to a counselor if you want to. That's what they're there for. But connect with somebody, especially if this is reoccurring. Connect with someone and have that outward conversation. Number one, it just feels good to get it off your chest. Number two, when you say it out loud, there's that sense of accountability, and hopefully you get some really good support back. And you might also get some great advice from someone who has been there, or someone who, a loved one that has, and just might have some insight that you've never thought of before. And I say this because I just got off a podcast, and I don't know which one will air first, with Felicia. And she was a fitness competitor. And I asked her what she did to get herself back into a healthy physical and mental state, because it kind of messed with that a little bit. And the 3 things that she said were profound. And one of them was that she spoke to a counselor. And I just think not enough people do that. So you have a hairy, scary, horrible night. Nah, not too bad, right? But it's still difficult in the morning to get back on track, or a long weekend, or it's been, a 10-day vacation, or it's been a couple of months or even a couple of years, but you're deciding after this podcast to get back on track. What do? Please don't step on the scale. Okay. Please don't step on the scale. Get rid of any guilt or that negative self-talk that you have in your head about what you did. Let it go. Past is the past. Moving on from today. Take a deep breath. Be proud of yourself for starting, and do what you can to prepare yourself, educate yourself, change your mindset so that you have the power to get through probably a couple of days that are going to be tough, to be able to get back on track and where you really want to be on your health journey. Drink a lot of water, put stuff in it, get pure water in your system as much as you can. Okay. Remove that temptation, throw it out, give it away, do whatever you need to do to get rid of it. And then if you're feeling strong, grocery shop with a good mindset, podcast, TED Talk in your ears. Buy the good stuff on the outside of the aisles. bring it home, and then make plans to actually eat it, whether you food prep or you cook it in advance so it's there for you. Get moving. Do what you love to do. If you can do it in a way that you still love it, if not, do something completely different. Do anything. Go to a Pilates class instead, or like I said, just take a walk. Go to the mall and walk in circles. Borrow your dog's neighbor, your neighbor's dog, and take it for a walk. Just move, but it doesn't have to be something that you're going to feel like it's a punishment for not eating in a way that you know that you should to be healthy. And read your goals again, check them out, or to make some if you don't have any yet. Goals that are attainable, and keep in mind you really want to do small wins along the way. Makes a big difference on whether or not you allow yourself to have a YOLO and it gets too long and it gets too deep and it's really hard to get out of. And then last but not least, connect with people. Connect with me. I'm here for you. If you need someone to talk to, I hope you have that friend or that family member that can help you. If not, there's coaches out there, there's counselors out there that would love to help you, and try not to do this all by yourself. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. We've all been there. Trust me. I don't know a single person, and I've been in the health and fitness industry for 20 plus years, that hasn't been in this situation. But having some tools under your belt really help you, instead of just waking up the next day and saying, okay, no more. But yet you've got the food on the counter, you're not sleeping well, you're not drinking any water, come on. So these are your tools. Get her done. Tell me that you started. I want to hear about it. And as always, wake up prepared. And I want you to go to bed, putting that head on the pillow and feeling proud. You guys have a great day. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.